But for those that are like most of us still driving hybrid or gasoline cars, you're using gasoline for that combustion, that fire, that inflammation, let's say, in the car to propel and help us do things. We've seen some cars like big trucks, or if you're going on a long journey, or if you're off-roading, you put extra canisters of gasoline on your truck. You can think of this gasoline as like histamines. We're going to be using it. A lot of the cars are using it, and you can store extra. Well, what happens if you store too much? What happens if you put canisters in the front and on top and covering some of the windows, and you're putting gasoline in the driver's seat, in the back seat, and you're just going overboard with the histamine, with the gasoline, right? Now, if you were to get into a car accident, you're at way more risk, right? The car accident being that flight, that annoying family member who causes stress in your body.
Because anytime you release adrenaline,
Right.
whether it's from stress from a person, whether it's from an intense workout, whether it's from flying, whether it's from feeling stressed about something, you will release histamine along with it.
You're releasing that histamine. So now, but when your body's having trouble either breaking down histamine, which we'll get into, and things like that, there's a lot of issues there. But just this analogy, imagine you're just adding this gasoline, and it can cause a lot of issues. It can also be things like mold exposure, again, going into the environment, right? Mold, susceptible areas, susceptible people, just causing more of this histamine to build up, right? Your body, we can get into like genetic factors as well as other medications, common medications. You're on high blood pressure medication, you're on anti-inflammatory medication, you're on opiates, right? Which a lot of people were on and still are on. So a lot of factors that can cause you're just building up this gasoline, and then oops, a little fender bender, or oh, I'm lighting something, or there's a little spark, and boom, there's a combustion, right? An over exaggeration of this histamine in the body. And this is kind of like a precursor. This is kind of a precursor like autoimmune, getting into the immune system, getting into that mast cell activation, and so forth. So you see this progression of really when your gut is off balance, when you have gut issues and dysbiosis, leading to histamine problems, leading to a lot of other problems. So, yeah.
And so, when you do have these different exposures, maybe you are taking these medications, like James said, things that will affect places where histamines can get in. So maybe it is you take non-steroidal anti-inflammatories very regularly, Advil, aspirin, Aleve, Midol. Those things are known to cause leakiness in the layer, the intestinal layer, the lining of the intestine. So that's going to allow more histamine to come in. Also, things that will lead to leaky gut are things like saturated fat in coconut oil or palm oil, high fat meat, high fat dairy. If you're eating other high fat meats like bacon and sausage, large consumption of those things will cause more histamine to come into the body. And then, things that are very high in yeast, especially if you do already have a yeast overgrowth in the body. So if you already have overabundance of yeast or fungal spores, and then you're consuming more, again, like James said, it's kind of overfilling that gas tank and going to lead to that combustion.